And as you go through life, um, you meet many people that you let into your life, and some nurture you, and some not so much. They're in the position to do that. But yeah, I think two people definitely evolve in a relationship, and not two people that they are when they first enter it. And when I walked away, I, for the last time, emotionally, mentally, thinking that's it, enough's enough. I just need to focus on just healing myself now.
Uh-huh.
And any new romantic relationship, I believe, should um, enhance what you have in your life.
Hi everyone, I'm Camilo Torres, and welcome again to Flow Community Podcast. In here, we're going to have amazing conversation with the beautiful people that has joined our community. We're going to be having a lot of inspiration from their life journeys, passions, creations, because we believe that when you share your unique story, you can inspire others. So please enjoy this new episode. And also, I would love to invite you to join our community. And if you would like to be part of this podcast, please go to our website, flowwithcommunity.com. Thank you. So please welcome Bobbi. Hi, welcome back, Bobbi.
Thank you for having me.
It's been amazing. Well, the first podcast, and thank you to coming back again. And I think this new episode it's about us and about our experiences. And it's going to be also important for me because I haven't had the chance to talk about that either. But yeah, thank you so much for coming back.
Oh, you're welcome. It's awesome
Yes.
to be here.
Yeah. So yeah, and about well, talking about like my experiences, we're going to be talking about relationships. And I feel like relationships are with everyone. I don't think it's just couple like with a partner. Relationship with families, relationship with friends are very important to develop and to also if you want to start a relationship, you need to have a strong self love. But what do you think about that? Do you think that's important to start a relationship with self love, or what's your
I
point of view?
do. I think it's really, really important to have self love for yourself, um, to nurture yourself. I think without that, um, you don't have the foundations, the right foundations to be able to give everything you need to give in a relationship. Um, it allows you to set boundaries as well. Having um, self worth for yourself, because, as you know, our relationships can actually have a huge impact on that. But yeah, I think self love is really quite important.
Nice.
Something I've definitely learned.
And when do you think you started your journey in self love, or how
um,
did you start your journey?
I think there's definitely been aspects of that, probably going back to my 20s. One of my first toxic relationships that I walked away with, walked away from, and that wasn't a romantic relationship. It was a relationship within family. Um,
Mm.
my grandparents. Um, that relationship um, taught me how to have self love for myself, because I feel I grew up um, seeking their love and affection, which was very much there for all of my siblings except myself. And to this day, I will never understand why they really hated me. And it's a lot for a child to grow up with that. So I decided in my 20s, I think I was probably 20,
Mm-hmm.
to that I was no longer going to seek um, their approval. I was going to cut myself off from that. and I put my energy and my effort into myself. And I put all of that effort into my career at the time, and saw that grow. I saw immediately, I think I saw the benefits of letting go of a toxic relationship and putting that effort and energy
Mm-hmm.
back into yourself, and actually having a really positive outcome. So it was a lesson I learned quite early on. But then as you go through life, um, you meet many people that you let into your life, and some nurture you, and some not so much. Um, but something I think I've definitely had to remind myself of my self worth in more so than ever in the last 8 years.
Wow. And well, thank you so much for sharing that. And do you think that experience with your family is reflecting or was reflected to past relationship, uh, or I don't know,
Past
in terms of
relationships that I had.
yeah, yeah, you had.
No, I think not that one.
Okay,
Just an anomaly. I had a great relationship with my parents.
okay,
So there wasn't. I had a fabulous relationship with my extended family.
all right.
So it was an anomaly with my maternal grandparents,
Mm,
who seemed to just. I tried most of my life pleasing, and nothing was ever good enough. And there's a lot more to it, but yeah, I think if I look back at that, as an adult today, I don't have any regrets from walking away. They taught me one of the most vital lessons, in life, that people learn a lot later on in life, how to let go of toxic relationships and the benefits of letting go of toxic friendships, relationships, romantic relationships. And I think it's really hard to walk away from family.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Yes, 100%.
they very much remained a dominant part of my life all through my life, and always kind of will be. It's just that kind of a relationship, but you need to kind of pick and choose how much you want to allow somebody in. And I think
Yeah.
I definitely kind of learned how to do that early on. Early on, it didn't affect my future relationships,
Mm-hmm.
um, in a negative way, at all. I have, definitely, I think, probably appreciated firsthand what one relationship doesn't give you, but what others do, and then that is what you should be putting your energy and effort towards.
Wow,
So I think that was really my takeaway
that's
from
great.
that, and just turning something which, turning something quite not a pleasant
Mm-hmm.
experience, something that stays with you, unfortunately. Rejection from such a close relationship, it kind of just stays with you, but I didn't allow it to shape me, um, because
Or
I
you did.
focused on the positives.
Well, it shaped you in a positive way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
not from like a, oh, I'm not good enough, and yeah, of course I had that for a lot of years. That, why am I not good enough?
Mm.
That question was very persistent growing up, um, and I think as an adult, early adult, I learned that very early on, to like the person looking back at you in the mirror more so than worry about
Mm-hmm.
what other people think of you or what their perception of you is. Because their perception, for whatever reason, wasn't great, where everybody else's was. And I think that's something that allowed me to kind of step away from that.
That's very magical. I think, wow, and thank you so much for sharing. I wanna share also my personal story, and it's also related like with my family, my close family, which like you learn from that situation and you make it shape you in a really good way. From my experience, I my parents, well, yeah, my parents had a really um, strong men nominated relationship, uh, and I saw a lot of the relationship wasn't as good as healthy, although they loved each other. I mean, I can say that they loved each other so much. But that what happened with me is I took that example and I thought that that relationship was the ideal relationship to have with
Mm.
someone. So what happened with me is when I met my ex partner, um, I I took as a model my parents' relationship, which made me unvalue so much myself because I thought that the man the man had the power, the woman had to be submissive and go with what it's being ruled in the house and no value. Anyway, that one don't tell like my parents' relationship did evolve,
Mm.
but then I did grow up with a lot of traumas from the relationship, and and it made me after that and after my first partner, my ex partner, my long relationship. Then I thought, oh, I had to do the same, and I was taking the role as the woman of the relationship, and then anyway, it made me realize later when I decided, and that was the first time, and I think for myself, first act of love to myself to decide stop this relationship. Uh, this is very toxic for me. This is not helping me to evolve where I want to be, and I decided to finish it. But it's really it's so nice to share our stories because anyway you learn from that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And even that you take like for me I learned so much from my past relationship as well, and then that's when I started like with you I guess and with your grandparents that I started putting my boundaries and I started knowing what is a toxic relationship, what this other person trying to manipulate the situation, and anyway, and that's I think my first self-love act, which I'm very proud, and it shaped me also like what you
It's
said.
a constant reminder, isn't it, in your future, um, in the journey ahead. Um, you see some correlations, and it's not
Mhm.
about comparing, it's an
No.
experience,
Mhm.
it's an emotion that such behavior evokes within you, and it's seeing those traits in future relationships that help with red flags. Not always, but um, the red flags definitely appear. Whether you choose to overlook them is a different matter, but um, I think it's a reminder all the way through your
Mhm.
future journey, about how certain emotions like that, certain relationships kind of evoke within you.
100%. And yeah, and to conclude that is, I mean, from my opinion, self-love is so essential to start a new relationship, family, friends, even a romantic relationship. When
Absolutely.
you have a strong
Yeah.
self-love, you have boundaries, you
Yeah.
have self-respect, you have yeah everything. So and then also you start loving the other person and letting them be themselves, and that's the most important thing I think.
It is.
Yeah. uh,
Absolutely. I think Ono works both ways. Being accepted for who you are, um, with all your flaws,
mhm,
um, rather than uh, being asked to change or demanded to change. Should you identify a trait and you want to change, that's different. And I believe any successful relationship, those two people are not the two people that they are when they enter that relationship. You evolve
a
within your relationship,
100%.
and there's nothing wrong with that, because you, as a couple, and we see the same in our friendships and social circles as well. Um, we take on traits from one another, and also that one person closest to you is also somebody whose opinion you're always going to take on board, whether you choose to or not, um, whether you are aware of it or not, because it's something that can be manipulated as well
Mm-hmm.
by the wrong individual, because um, you do look or seek um, a sense of, I would probably say, approval, validation within
Mm-hmm.
that relationship of what the other person wants. Um, and if that's manipulated, then yeah, that's not great. But they're in the position to do that. But yeah, I think two people definitely evolve in a relationship, and not two people that they are when they first enter it. And your friends tell you that more than anybody else. Your friends and your family who actually know you are the first to tell you.
Yeah,
But I think you are changing for the right reasons,
correct.
to make that relationship stronger, um, letting it grow, um, and I think putting one another first. I think one of the kind of main ingredients for any successful relationship.
Yeah, yeah, yes, I agree. I completely agree. And w- I have another question.
Sure.
So do you think our relationships, romantic, friends, family, affects our mental health and how? Yeah.
For sure.
100%.
Absolutely.
I
I think
have.
absolutely. I think positive relationships will nurture you. They'll help you grow. I think they bring love, first of all, which can help you both professionally and personally, um, in every sense of the word. Where a negative relationship brings anxiety, stress, rejection,
Mhm.
um, and self doubt more than anything. Where a positive relationship makes you're walking on air, um, and it's reminding you of all of the things and attributes about you as an individual that are working for for your relationships, whether it's with your parents, whether it's with your friends, whether it's with professional working colleagues or a
Mhm.
romantic relationship. It's it's uplifting, that kind of sense of acknowledgement of you doing something right. Where when you are in a negative relationship, or everything about you that was once upon a time kind of perfect is now turned against you, and
Mhm.
doesn't matter how strong willed, minded, and independent person you are, it affects you, and you start doubting yourself,
I
and
agree.
that's an awful place to be. Um, and I think with negative relationships as well come losses,
Mhm.
losses that it takes a long time to recover and heal from.
I agree. I
And
agree.
I think it's so important to heal from that, to be able to move forward.
Uh-huh.
Um, I think having my earlier relationship being such a positive one, um, I wasn't tarnished with that whole mentality where I would doubt anything that would kind of be coming my way, or in a future relationship or anything. And I think now, having been on the other side of a negative, extremely negative relationship, um, where a positive relationship, your boundaries kind of come down, your guard comes down, and a negative relationship, your walls go up.
Right.
And it's And then obviously, the older we get, the more um, wiser we become.
Uh-huh.
Um, the more, well, the less susceptible to change we are as well, I believe. It's so important to have a nurturing relationship to allow you to bring your guard down, allow you to just be yourself
Uh-huh.
instead of just being guarded the whole time. I think it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
But mentally, I think emotionally, a huge impact. I think it has, um, whether it's your friends. I think friendships as well. We don't even realize that
Uh-huh.
how much rope we give
I agree.
to some people in our lives, and we look back at the longevity in that friendship, for example, moments they've been there for us, and despite they might be very few, um, it becomes really, really draining,
Uh-huh.
which I think is something you don't realize until you walk away from, um, which not many people do.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think it's really important to learn, and share this, that if a relationship is not giving you what you want, um, and we don't always know that, but if it's not uplifting you,
Uh-huh.
if there's just too much negativity in it, you've got to start pulling away and probably giving yourself that time back. And giving yourself that time is I think invaluable. It's invaluable for our kind of wellness
Uh-huh.
and our mental
Yeah,
health for sure.
I agree. Wow. Yeah, thank you so much. And I think for me, from my own experience, having a divorce after I mean, I'm not say everything was bad in my past relationship. There were a lot of love as well. I think. No, no, no. There were a lot of love. Anyway, also other toxic situations, but it's
I
all
can
good.
relate.
But then, like for example, from my experience, I experienced a divorce that make me divorce. Like a lot of people don't talk about this, and the divorce process affects you so much in your
Yeah.
mental health, and you don't think that way because oh okay we move on, it's end of an era and that's it. But the process, the lawyers, the continuing talking, the negotiations, and also if
Constantly reliving,
yeah, I
reliving
constantly
the
reliving, yeah,
the reasons you're there,
yes,
which is not easy.
agreed. And also like also if the other person knows that the other one doesn't have a strong doesn't love himself,
Mm.
so the other person take an advantage and starting manipulating and affecting this other person that it's is very weak,
Yeah.
I'll say, and this the mental health starting affecting until like that's my experience. And I my divorce lasted 6 years. but but in the end I was like no, no, it's enough. And then and then I didn't let that situation to control me because I was letting that situation to control me a lot. So I knew after a few years after, I knew that my mental health wasn't right. But yeah, it affects, I'm just talking about the negative, I'm sure, like, and yeah, this is one part. But from the other side, my friends relationship, how they affect my mental health in a good way, because they were there, and I'm very lucky to have a chosen family here that during my period of the divorce, they were very patient, they were very supporting, they were very there for me to go through that bad moment. And and yeah, I mean, the the positive way of the mental health is, yeah, the kind of, and I'm very lucky, and also my family as well, my mom, and yeah, my family as well. But yeah, that balance a lot. but yeah, 100%, like it could affect, and it affects my own mental health in a bad way, but also other relationships make it better. So yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's just finding that nurturing relationship.
Uh-huh.
Um, Even after a negative experience, I think after my kind of experience with my grandparents, which lasted 20 years, um, I had a very fulfilling, nurturing relationship in my marriage. Very
Mm.
long um, marriage, extremely supportive, just a wonderful human being. I think in every way, shape and form. Um, and unfortunately, it came to an end, which was not it was not a cause um, of, of what we had within the relationship, but it was kind of unfortunately I let somebody else come between us, um, who wasn't um, exactly who he portrayed himself to be,
Mm.
and just you don't really kind of you don't see that coming, because
Mm.
when you are honest and open about who you are, and I'm not somebody who does or says anything for because it sounds good or to please people. um I am who I am, and I have an opinion whether it's going to be the consensus or not. um and I think you assume, or I wrongly assumed, that when people portray themselves, it's done with integrity, it's done with
Uh-huh.
honesty, and I just learned the hard way it's not. Um, and yeah, so there's definitely kind of you just find out the hard way that a lot of people just lie,
Yeah,
which is I think
yeah.
the most damaging thing you can do in any relationship, whether it's business relationships,
Uh-huh.
professional, romantic. There's just I've got absolute zero tolerance for lies, exaggeration even. I just I think more so. I think we were talking about something similar earlier, and I think even a meeting that I had on route was about just the perception in London at the moment of like people who just like exaggerate of who they are, whether it's their job titles on LinkedIn to the claims that they make. So you just got to be really, really wary. Um,
Uh-huh.
just got to do your due diligence. And I think a due diligence element in our personal lives is those red flags. Don't
Uh-huh.
ignore them.
Uh-huh.
And just kind of like, our instincts as well.
Yeah,
Our
a
instincts
hundred
don't
percent,
lie.
a hundred
We
percent.
have a terrible habit of kind of like overseeing them,
Yeah.
um, and just giving people too much credit for what they kind of they deserve. Hard lessons to learn.
Yeah.
And I think as you kind of move on from that, it's yeah, you become a lot less a lot less forgiving. I think in my case,
Yeah. 100%.
to anything that just doesn't align with me, um, I just no longer want to be part of it.
Yeah.
I think you just learn to kind of it's so much better for you mindset wise to walk away from something that can be so draining of your energy, your efforts, and it's just going into a black hole. So,
Uh-huh.
so yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, from my side, what my experience is when I well, after that long relationship that I had and my divorce, I ended up in another relationship that was that I thought exactly the same. Oh my God, this person is going to be different. but I went into starting notice a pattern again.
Yeah, you do.
But thankfully, it didn't last long, and I put and I mean, I think my self love journey started since well, since my divorce, but also discovering other people's intentions and other like red flags, what you said, and know my limits. And yeah, that's I know what you mean about. Also, sometimes we when we finish relationship, we end up trying to find another relationship, so it kind of I don't know fill the hole in the gap. But with that, like, and then with my self love and this journey that's never ending, I learned that look, the best relationship that you can have, it's with yourself, and then when you have that, then you don't let like your next relationships are going to be not to fill a gap, it's just to connect with people
Yeah.
and to love people rather than hey let's be together because I need someone.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
exactly.
Absolutely. I think I I walked away from my relationship, or the relationship walked away from me several times. Um, but the last time, it there was just too much coming back and forth, and it lasted like 6 years. 6 years of just constant coming back and forth. Um, I guess procrastinators just don't know what they want in life. Where I'm very kind of like firm mind, know what I want, and look ahead. I try to look ahead, um, and I think there was just a lot of. There's also a lot of kind of think determination within me, um, to not give up at the first hurdle. Um, Sometimes I just that's the lesson I probably have needed to learn is there's times you need to give up. um, but I think the when I walked away, I for the last time, emotionally, mentally thinking that's it, enough's enough. I just need to focus on just healing myself
Uh-huh.
now, um, from what had been 6 years of uh, yeah, awfulness from coming from an extremely positive, perfect relationship, marriage, friendship to what I wouldn't wish on anybody. And there was loving moments as well, which is the whole reason. I was in that relationship, but this is what I did. I focused on the small moments,
Mhm.
instead of the bigger picture, which was never there. Um, and I think I walked away just wanting to kind of heal myself. I mean, during those 6 years, there was like no friends and family approval for being in that relationship. So it was a very lonely journey to begin with. Um, and I think I also needed to heal alone as well. It's not something I terrible at doing is reaching out. Um, and but having said that, friends should also identify and be there. Um, that I've not always been lucky to have, at least not when I needed it all those years ago. Um, and I think I wasn't looking to fill a void, which I didn't want to jump from one relationship to another, because it's not fair on the next person.
Mhm.
You don't have anything to give if you haven't healed. Um,
Mhm.
you are just carrying the traumatic experience straight into your next one. Um, and I definitely, I think, like to take moments of self reflect to know where I'm going in my journey, to just be kind of at one with myself, rather than looking at what the world perceives that I should be doing or whatever. And I think it's really hard. It's really hard for me to kind of explain as time went on, because it's not a it's not a 1 day, 1 month, 1 year thing. Healing takes a long time, and until you get to the root cause of the trauma. It can take years and years and years. Um, and I wasn't looking. I didn't think there was a void to fill. I had to find happiness within myself. I had to find um, being happy, being alone and happy. So being alone but not lonely um, is what the goal was. And there's a huge difference because I was lonely in my marriage. Um, with having a partner, um, was the reason Bobbi London was born. But I wanted to be happy with being alone and not feel lonely. So it took a long time, and I've had colleagues, friends, family that have just not understood why I was single. I kept telling them I was overqualified, but that didn't quite fly. But and it was because I just wanted to find happiness within myself. And most people that kind of see me always see me with a smile on my face, but it wasn't genuine. It was painted, and it was painted for a very long time. Um, I would probably say best part of 8 years. This year is probably year 9, and where I'd say I have found my smile again, and it's genuine. But it's taken a long, long time to get there, and I think it's so important. And there's just so many people that just cannot comprehend spending half forget half an hour is too much 10 minutes with themselves. They need to fill the gap, they need to fill that void with a phone call, with something, with about 200 other things they need to be doing. But it's so important to find those reflective periods within yourself. I think they were my healing moments more so than anything, and I've always had them all the way through in my life, which is why they were important to me. And it's because I could see that having those periods, I could then professionally reflect on my life and where I want to go. And it's the same personally. And yes, it's hard. It's not a walk in the park. There's a lot of moments where you miss the good times. And I have to constantly remind myself of the difficult times, of why I was there. Because when you're down, it's so much easier to hang on to the the few but positive moments. It's what keeps you going. The other thing I learned was in my kind of negative relationship is, where did I get so much perseverance to and resilience to kind of keep going? And I realized that I'd given up so much for this one relationship. Um, I just needed to make it work. And it became the thing that I put all of my focus. I had to make it work, had to make it work. It didn't matter what at what cost. And it cost me everything. Um, but it's identifying that as well, which you can do when you step away. Um, having other people in your ear, I don't think works.
No.
Whether you're in a relationship, you could be happy in a relationship, there'll be somebody saying, oh, they don't like this, that, and the other, or whatever. And if you're somebody who actually takes on board people's opinions, it will affect you, will affect your relationship. I believe that was certainly something that my ex-husband was victim of, because up until anybody knew about our relationship on his side, everything was fine. And I think you'd go back and you try to get to the bottom of what where exactly went wrong, and I'll never know. But it's not important anymore. The why isn't important. It's looking ahead and looking back and not repeating the patterns, and I think not looking, filling a void, I think is the key message. If you're looking to fill a void, you're going to make the same mistakes over and over again.
Yeah.
Look at the patterns, look at the behavior, whether it's your friends, whether it's we have a lot of family. There'll be some people we'll be close to, some people we're not close to within our family. And it's just analyzing all of those relationships. And any new romantic relationship, I believe, should enhance what you have in your life, but you should have what you want in your life without that.
Mhm.
A relationship shouldn't be your title.
Mhm.
It should not be who you are. It should enhance what you have in your life, and that's the nurturing aspect that a relationship brings. Um, it it helps you grow, um, but there's you need to still continue doing be on that journey by yourself, like you have been
Agree.
through most of your life. I think we forget and don't give ourselves enough credit for all of the things that we do achieve alone,
Mhm.
um, and having a great supportive um, partner, um, friends and family are a bonus, but they're not the sole ingredient.
And to complement that, in the end of the day, who you're going to end up with yourself. Everybody, I mean, cycle of life, and everybody evolves, and everybody goes to different paths. And in the end of the day, you're going to be with yourself. And what you said, it's so nice that like having amazing time with yourself and appreciate it is so important. And then I know that many people has that privilege because when I discover that to my like because this is part of self-love, oh my god, I enjoy so much life. I just I one of my experience is like going to dance, love dancing, and I'm going to dance with myself. And I go to the nightclub, and then a lot of people is like, "Hey, who are you with?" And I'm like, "Oh, with myself." Oh, sorry, no,
I
come,
know.
come, come. I'm like, what do you mean come? No, I don't. I wasn't like, I say hello to you, and then I'm answering the question, but I wasn't approaching you. Oh, anyway, it
Yeah.
wasn't needed to be part of a group. Although I'm very social as well, and I love people, but, but I love that. I love telling that experience because it's some people is like crazy. Why you're here?
I know.
And then I corrected as well something that I was saying, hey, I'm on my own, which is very different that I am with myself. And I think the power of the words that you said is very important. And yeah, and yeah, it's magical when you're with yourself, enjoying life, eating, coffee, listening music, dancing, no music, no nothing, like yeah, it's so magical. But anyway, yeah, thank you so much for this amazing podcast,
You're
and I'm
welcome.
sure we're going to have another. To end the podcast, I know I asked you those questions before in
Yeah.
our first podcast,
Yeah.
but let's redo it. And I'm sure they're going to be different
Yeah.
because we all
Probably.
evolve.
Of
And
course.
hello, I have evolved from the last one that we did. So for you, what is creativity? If you can do, sorry, I didn't say, in a word or a short sentence.
What's creativity in
What
a word?
creativity? Yeah.
Um, seeing things through.
Okay.
So visualizing and um, making them happen is what I mean by seeing things through. Not just sitting there dreaming.
Nice. Okay. Thank you. What is your current creative expression?
Being my authentic self. I am so aligned um, with myself at present, and it's so important for me to have that time as well. I think I've just had an amazing 4 days to myself. It's been brilliant, but it's saying no as well. I think you have to do that. So I think that's probably my current.
Creative expression.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. That's lovely. It's really nice. And what flow as the word means for you?
Camilo Torres.
Okay.
Flow now for me means Camilo Torres,
Oh,
and I
thank
think
you.
the amazing um, flow community that you've created here. It's um, it's an absolute privilege to be part of it, and to watch that grow. So
Oh,
really, really super proud of you.
thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening, and see you soon. Bye.